good at this. Sometimes I impress myself. Sometimes I impress myself. Everyone bites the dust. Tag, you're dead. Sometimes I impress myself.
I'm really making progress here. What? I'm really making progress here. Making progress here. What? Come get some! Making progress here. More where that came from. More where that came from.
Hello? Anybody there? Something's not right. Hey, relax. Everything okay? You can't be here. I'm putting you under arrest. Stay back, sir! I've got this! Officer, you need help? What are you doing? Get off! No! Get off of me! Jesus Christ.
Money's in my account. Always a pleasure.
Attention, all citizens. Due to the citywide outbreak.
And don't make my mistake. If you see one of those things, uniform or not, you do not hesitate.
Whatever it takes to save this city.
Surprised you made it this far.
Need info on my extraction. Survival's your responsibility.
God damn it.
Will you help me?
Of course. It's an impressive display of strength. But we never meant for this to happen.
It's coming back!
Damned.
Good to go up here.
Mindset. That should hold.
Father, forgive us. We shed this blood in the name of mercy.
Not as boring.
This bridge is our best position to take them out. A couple of shots would probably drop those hacky stars on them.
Take them out.
They're climbing on each other. Hit the base.
Elevator shafts open on the far side of this floor.
Guys okay? I'm hearing a lot of action from your way.
It got messy in here.
Did everybody get some? Guns dry.
Grenade out.
We got a creeper close by.
Come on, cabrones. Nothing fancy, but it'll work.
When we get outside, don't stop until you hit the subway. Gotta be something.
Guys, see the swarm coming straight for you.
Which direction?
Right down Broadway.
These defenses will slow him down. Claymore is live.
Razor wire in place. Here they come! Here they come.
Who wants more? Holy shit. Get away from the window. Throwing a grenade. Shit. More coming in. The fuckers are climbing. Go, go, go.
No turning back now. Keep moving.
Loading ammo.
We were so many things. Husbands and wives, doctors and teachers, writers and architects. But when the world ended, all that ended too. Every day we fight for more than survival. We fight to build a new life. Alone, we're weak. But together, we might stand a chance.
Dying Light 2 features a functioning ecosystem that reacts on multiple levels to the things you do and the choices you make. In the example we're about to show you, our protagonist undertakes a mission for the Peacekeepers, one of the many factions active in the city. They want you to negotiate with two survivors who are controlling and hoarding a water supply.
Are you going to insult us with another final offer?
Let's say you choose to carry out the Peacekeepers' orders, one way or another.
Stay back!
After this, you'll start seeing a significant change in the city, as access to the water supply has allowed the Peacekeepers to bring stability and develop the area. There's even running water for the people at street level. And that raises their morale and allows you to replenish your energy on the go. But there's a cost to this. The PKs have a rigid approach to law and order. So while the streets may be safer, it's only safe for those who side with them. So if you get on their bad side... Now let's return to that moment of choice. And instead of killing them, you choose to team up with this group to supply water in the black market. As you will see, this creates a very different set of consequences for the city. With water being a precious currency, it brings you access to new resources and trade. But this in turn attracts the worst type of people to the area. And this is just a single decision, one out of hundreds you'll have to make. But it allows you to carve out your own world, your own city from the apocalypse. Each player's game experience will be unique. And by the way, this is just what happens in the day. At night, well, things tend to get a lot darker.
15 years since the fall. The city is a corpse, and we are the worms. We burrow in it, fighting for every useful piece of land to preserve ourselves from the terrors of the night and the horrors of the day.
I know not who can hear my voice. I shall therefore speak a word unto hear. Anyone who dares to steal food will be hanged, and their bodies will be exposed.
Every day we rise from dust to choose between bad and worse.
Get him! You're dead now!
And these choices we take to survive will create the world to come. You know the drill. Get to the nearest safe house and wait until dawn.
Hostiles! Approaching the BFG 10,000!
God, it's him! They've overrun the lower levels! Corporate says we should let them through! What? Why?
Access granted.
pollution. So close for population growth.
Where'd you guys go?
What the hell were we carrying?
It's not your problem anymore. Now, it's mine.
I mean, the bike is very important, right, as well? Like,
yeah, we almost consider the bike to be another character.
Yeah.
Because you only get one, and you're constantly upgrading it, you're constantly trying to repair it, you need to keep it refueled, and if you lose it, you got to go find it, and you can't whistle for a new one. So
you can't whistle,
right? Like a horse.
Yeah, the refueling mechanic is a huge game design choice. I really, really like that. Can you talk more about how important it's going to be to be able to find fuel?
Sorry.
So the refueling mechanic, and actually you have to find gas to keep your bike going. It's a mechanic we haven't really seen done to this extent before. Can you talk more about that and how it changes the gameplay?
Well, like in this demo, one of the things that Jeff's taking the run and gun approach. So we like to call it sandbox combat. So basically what you can do is you can run and gun, you can stealth your way through, and your goal here is to get and find a bike part, right? So you're here actually for kind of a trivial reason. You've risked your friend's life to come and get a part for your bike. And so that shows a little bit about Deacon's character. But then as you watch Jeff play through this wide linear sequence, he can play it 100 different ways. And if you watch other people play, you'll see that, okay, they didn't take this route. They didn't stop and check the trunk of this police car. And those are kind of like our treasure chests throughout the world. So you're always on the lookout for those because that's how you're going to find ammo and health kits. And then you're seeing one of our stealth mechanics here. If you're quiet, if you crouch walk and you walk up behind an enemy, then you have the opportunity for a stealth takedown.
And what can you tell us about the Freakers? Because they're quite unique. And we've seen, a fair few undead enemies in video games before. What makes the Freakers unique, and what was your decision-making behind making them the way they are?
They're alive.
They're alive.
Yeah, they're not zombies. They're alive. And so that sounds trivial, but it's not, because it basically means we have a full day-night cycle in the game.
Right.
And they have things that they do. There's an ecosystem, and they have to eat, they have to drink, they have to hibernate. And so you will find them, like in this scenario, you'll see that there's some nests, and Freakers build nests for reasons you discover while you're playing the game. And then you can take those nest zones out in order to free up fast travel routes. So it becomes part of the metagame. But Freakers are evolving. They're living creatures who have been affected by this virus. And there's several different types. And some of our trailers you've seen, we've shown the Screamer, which is a female that can have sort of alarm system that will bring in more Freakers.
Right.
We have the infected bear, so it infects animals. In our last trailer, we showed
mountain lion and the crows.
Right, so you have so so it's just it's a wide variety of challenges for the player, and like we said, the world comes for you, and that's part of it. Is that these creatures are always after you, and at night they're stronger.
Yeah.
If it starts raining, they become stronger.
But I've seen in previous trailers Deacon actually utilizing the freakers as a weapon against his enemy as well. So you can actually use them to your advantage as well as the environment itself.
Yeah, absolutely. We call it the freakosystem. So in this scenario, there's not a lot of chance for that, but if he were fighting marauders or rippers, then he could find a nearby swarm. It's an open world, so you can just explore. You can find other tools like a swarm or a freaker bear, and you could bring them into an enemy camp and watch the sort of mayhem that happens.
I guess you've got to be careful, though. You don't get kind of sucked into it.
Yeah.
I like this gun, you guys. So you have melee combat and you have gun combat. Can you talk about how you designed and balanced for both?
It's like so many different scenarios require the player to determine how they want to play it, right? So that's why we have like this full set of stealth mechanics. We have a full set of weapons that you can upgrade, and in order to do that, you have to go to the human encampment. So there's survivor encampments in the world, the only places in the world where it's safe. And you have to do jobs and missions with them in order to earn trust. And then once you earn trust, the merchants there will sell you them.
Ah, I like that.
And then it's like, and if you want to upgrade your shotgun, or you want to buy a silencer for it, then you have to have enough trust at that encampment in order to do that.
Boozer, you there? I found the part. I'm heading out.
Got the bike part. He's not having a good time.
This is the inside of the Crazy Willie's truck stop, and that's one of the other things we wanted to point out is that it's full open world, but there's a lot of exploration in the game. All of the building interiors are accessible. There's no load times to get in and outside of a building or to go between regions. This is in the Belknap Wilderness, and the whole area is just completely explorable. And then these are the Rippers that I mentioned earlier. So these are one of the cults in the game.
Tats are dead symbols of a dead man. Dead symbols of the lost. Get off me! Bitches! Biker Man! You must be brought low, Biker Man. For you are lost, and we are found.
Oh yeah, that's gonna hurt.
Get low. Get low. Low.
So you can see they're not very friendly.
No. You've talked about having freedom in terms of how you approach missions. So you can approach them stealthily. You can go in all guns blazing if you want to. What kind of freedom do you have in terms of the mission structure, in terms of the story? Do you get to make story choices in the game, or is it like sort of like a linear narrative path you're going to be taking?
Yeah, there's several key places where you have to choose what Deacon is going to do in a key situation. So we released a bunch of footage last month, and if you watch carefully, you'll see that there's a moment where Deacon has the choice to take a man's life or to force Boozer to do it.
Right.
And that will have an impact on Boozer's morale. So your best friend, how he feels about you, how he feels about. So you tried doing sort of a stealthy approach, and now you're just going to go in with a shotgun and blow him away.
Ooh, get that headshot.
Or baseball bat, that works. Yeah.
Can you tell us anything about what has happened in the world? You know, why are we in this post-apocalyptic situation? Like, are you able to reveal like kind of what has happened, what has led to this transition?
Yeah, it's one of those things that we really want the player to sort of learn as they go. So there are answers,
right?
But you have to explore. There's a, we've introduced this group called NERO, which is our National Emergency Response Organization. They're out in the world. They have these MMUs that you're trying to break into in order to get medical supplies. They're part of the story. And, obviously Deacon has lost somebody. We saw that in a trailer. That's part of the story. And as far as like the pandemic and the hordes that you run into constantly, these all sort of weave together to sort of explain how we got, to this place in this world.
Cool. And all kinds of just visual, actual hardware upgrades, but a ton. You can really make it your own.
Awesome. Well, John, Jeff, Chris, thank you so much.
Bowser have a run-in with RIP the last couple of days? Why? One of my men escaped a Ripper camp, got tortured, like they always do. But this time they kept asking me if you knew about it. 2 bikers, 2 men. The Ripper called them mongrels. If you ask me, you got a price on your head.
You know same as me. Anything that happens here is far better than what's going on out there.
Get off! What the hell?
Perfect. Just perfect.